Sir, Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, sir.
Welcome to one more episode. Today, I want to touch on three important topics, the Sengol controversy, the emergency, and the political drama surrounding the speaker election. But first, Sengol controversy. We all know Sengol was installed in parliament or the new parliament with much fanfare. But why is Sengol the new flashpoint?
Well, it all started with today's visuals of the Sengol preceding President Draupadi Murmu's entry into the new parliament building to address a joint sitting of the two houses to mark the commencement of this session, and rather the commencement of the 18th Lok Sabha, because last 3 days was spent with the new members taking oath and finally the election of the speaker. So today was actually the formal start with the formal address by the president to the new members of parliament. And since the Sengol was such a visible thing, we have seen it in the last Lok Sabha also, where the Sengol was proudly preceded the entry of the president, again for a joint sitting. Now, a 𝗏𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃 party member, 𝗝liche𝘂𝗁𝗁, has said, what is this? Why should we give so much of importance to this? It's only a danda, stick. What is there in that? And that too a symbol of royal. This is not democracy. It has no place in parliament. We should rather replace it with Samvidhan. Now, this comment, which should have prompted particularly the members from southern India, particularly Tamil Nadu, to raise their voice and say, don't treat Sengol as some kind of a stick. After all, when Nehru was gifted the Sengol, it was relegated to storehouse of the Allahabad Museum, where it was written as walking stick. This is not a walking stick. This is a symbol of the Chola period, where it symbolized Raj Dharma, that is dispensation of justice under the old kings. And since that, Sengol was retrieved by the Modi government and given a pride of place in the new parliament building. It has been subject of ridicule by even DMK members. Not attaching any importance. And with their victory from Tamil Nadu now, their disdain for anything to do with Modi's era or a Modi's legacy, they want to play it down. So today, 𝗏𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃 party's 𝗏𝗏𝘂𝗁𝗁, he wrote a letter to Speaker and saying that Sengol to be replaced with a copy of the Constitution. Why don't you put a copy of the Constitution? Now, Sengol is a pride of every Tamilan or a Tamil-speaking person. But DMK is so much caught up in this politics. They did not even condemn the request made by a 𝗏𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗃 party member. Because last 3 days we have seen, I would say, a farcical drama, because all the opposition MPs have been holding a red book. That is a pocket edition of the Constitution. They brought it on the first day. When they took oath also, they had it with them, including Rahul Gandhi. And after they have taken oath, they raised the slogan, 𝗏𝗵𝗏𝗀, Jai Hind. Samvidhan means constitution. And this drama has been going on. Now, incidentally, June 25th and 26th happened to be the anniversary when emergency was proclaimed in this country in 1975. That is nearly 49-50 years ago. So that is not an occasion that the BJP would let it go like that. Every year on June 25th, they come out with statements reminding the people, as if at all any period in our current history where the Constitution was trampled upon, it was during the emergency. And that people should be reminded. So that is why Speaker, soon after his election, made a mention of emergency. President Draupadi Murmu mentioned it in her address to the joint sitting of the two houses. This was much to the displeasure of the Congress party, which even wrote a letter to the Speaker. And Rahul Gandhi met the Speaker today, accompanying a delegation, saying that the emergency should not have been raised in the House. A period which they don't want to be remembered, because it only points to the legacy of the Congress.
But I have a question. So why is Congress so upset about discussing emergency? Can't they just say sorry and move on?
Sir, whenever the subject has come, they try to make out as if it was nothing to do with their rule in this country. Though it happened during the grandmother's time, that is Indira Gandhi's time, Rahul Gandhi's grandmother's time it happened. But they always try to distance themselves, saying, because they have been describing Modi's dispensation as an undeclared emergency. That was a declared one, this is undeclared emergency, and where opponents have been targeted. This is their allegation. So, when the Modi government or the BJP seeks to remember this period of our current history, which was a dark period because democratic rights were actually trampled upon, censorship was imposed, thousands of people were jailed. Many opposition leaders were jailed. So many things happened. People were forced to sterilization, mass sterilization. A lot of things have happened. And Indira Gandhi herself, after that, had said in some interviews that she regretted imposing emergency. So they say that Indira Gandhi has already asked for a regret. She has expressed sorry. So no need to bring it up again and again. But emergency should be remembered for the simple reason that those who forget history are condemned to repeat it. This is a very popular saying.
You refer to the political drama around Suresh. So is Suresh the new fall guy for the Congress?
This was a needless attempt by the Congress to force a contest for the Speaker's post, when it was very well known the numbers are with the NDA. And it has always been a practice that the ruling party nominates one of its leaders as the Speaker. I mean, this is nothing new. It has always happened. But this time, they were seeking up to bargain with the NDA. So what happened was, when NDA, on behalf of the NDA, Defense Minister Rajnath approached the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge to support the candidature of Om Birla, who was also the Speaker in the previous term. So at that time, Kharge sent 𝗪cie𝘂𝗶𝘀𝗁𝗶, who is the Congress General Secretary for Organization, and T.R. Balu of the DMK, put the condition before the government that we are willing to support Om Birla provided you support our candidate as the Deputy Speaker. To which Rajnath replied, look, we can look at the issue of Deputy Speaker's election later. We seek your cooperation, because the whole effort is to see that he's elected unopposed, like it had happened last time. But Congress said, no, this is not about Speaker. You decide, you have to give us one post. So they put condition. So when they put condition, after that there was no question of turning back, and government was in no mood to accept the condition. See, if the Congress had openly come and supported the candidature of Om Birla, perhaps they could have considered Deputy Speaker. Last time there was no Deputy Speaker. Now, this resulted in a stalemate, and that saw Rahul Gandhi asking Kodakudil Suresh to go and file nomination without consulting any of the allies. Rahul Gandhi has been seeking consensus. I mean, has been talking of a need for consensus, government to adopt a consensus approach. But when it came to question of Congress support for the Congress candidature, nobody was consulted. Now, in the meantime, what happened was Rajnath telephoned Mamata Banerjee and told her that please support Om Birla, whereas Congress party has gone in and filed a nomination of papers of Suresh. Mamata was surprised to hear from Rajnath that the Congress party has already decided on the candidature of Suresh. We are 29 people. Why did Congress ignore us? So she conveyed her annoyance through her party leaders, including her nephew Abhishek Banerjee, who said we have not been consulted. So when it came to that, the doubt, it cast a doubt whether Mamata would support the candidature of when the arithmetic is clear. NDA has got 295. The opposition has got 232. Now, if you press for election, what happens is these figures will come out. What is the point in showing that you don't have the figures yet you put up a candidate? Number one. Number two, if NDA were to get more than 295, because required is 271 for Om Birla to be elected. There are at the moment only 533 seats, because one seat is vacant, that is Wayanad. Now, if the NDA gets more than 295, which is their number now, then what happens is it will appear as if that some opposition members have voted. So Sharad Pawar also was not keen on a fight. He said, no, we should not press for an election. Speaker's election should be unanimous. We can ask for deputy speakership to be given to the opposition. That is later. Now, sensing this whole thing, Congress decided not to press for an election. That is what is called a division. Division in the House means actual head count as to which side has how many votes. I mean, which side has got how many support. What is the strength of the support? Now, suddenly they decided not to go in for election because of reservation expressed by these so-called allies. So Om Birla was declared. But then Trinamool again did a somersault. They said we should have pressed for a division. Why we didn't press for a division? Division was not pressed by the Congress at the time of voting. When the pro tem speaker moved the motion, the Congress should have sought division. So numbers were on their side. They unnecessarily wanted to pick up a fight. Because Rahul Gandhi had taken a stand that we must oppose Modi government at every stage. Now, subsequent to that, having realized that numbers are not there, our allies are not with us, Rahul Gandhi decided not to press for election. But then soon after the election, there was commentary in the sense we saw Rahul following, because now he has become leader of the opposition. He had formally decided to take up that post, so he was sitting in that seat even before he is formally being announced as the leader of the opposition. And then he took part in the tradition where once the person is elected as the Speaker of the House, Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition go to the seat of the Om Birla, and requested him to come and occupy the chair. Rahul Gandhi participated in that, and then followed by there were speeches, where, as usual, the plea of Rahul Gandhi was opposition should be allowed to have its say, should be given opportunity, etc., etc. And the Prime Minister pointed out the need for a debate. Now, this whole drama could have been avoided. Congress could have shown a rather bigger approach, saying, look, we are supporting Speaker unanimously. Then claim the moral ground, look, we supported your Speaker without condition. So therefore, the Deputy Speaker post should go to the opposition like in previous times. But then that was the first of the operation headed by Rahul, where I don't think they played the game well.
But then they are now pushing for the deputy speaker election, right?
But I don't think, sir, after this thing has come to this, NDA is in any mood to give it to Congress party or so. It may rather go to TDP, which is more likely. One of the supporting parties, like it has happened during Vajpayee's time. It went to ADMK. So this possibility is more. I don't think now they are in favor of giving Deputy Speaker's post to the Congress.
Apart from the Sengol controversy, there is a new flashpoint on the three laws that are going to come starting July 1st. I see that the lawyers from the West Bengal High Court are actually opposing these new laws. What's happening around the three new laws?
Sir, basically they have got Hindi names, but for our viewers, these are amended or revised versions of Indian Penal Code, CRPC Criminal Procedure Code, and the Indian Evidence Act. Now, what has happened is, since the time is less, all the lawyers will have to read up the new provisions. Judges will have to read up the new provisions, and everybody doesn't. They were very familiar with the old laws, provisions of the. Now, this is a new challenge for everybody, because the new amendments that have come to this law, or the newly rewritten law, all the three laws, they allow for more of use of technology, technical aspects, technical proof, technical evidence, and lot of things have been streamlined. So they need time to study this. Therefore, they are seeking time. But even a petition was moved in the Supreme Court, but Supreme Court did not stay this particular act, because some people may eventually challenge it. That's a different thing. But even courts don't want to intervene, because there are a lot of provisions in the law which is an improvement, and both in terms of, because Modi government has been working to do away with what is called what we received as a way of colonial kind of a legacy. So more than 1,200 laws have been already completely taken away from the statute books. Now, these particular three laws provide for a justice system that is based on scientific approach, that is seen as taking into account the advancement in technology, use of forensic science. Now, these are the things that are there in the new provisions. But since every change is inconvenient for all the stakeholders, they are seeking more time making an issue. And in fact, Bar Council of India today are told various lawyers association not to go on strike on this issue. Well, this is a question of a professional standard and maintaining professional integrity. Because laws are made to serve people. Laws are not made to serve lawyers. Now, they are now up in arms because they feel we have to go study this. There is so much of confusion. We need time. Whereas police forces are already undergoing training on the application of the new law, because it covers all aspects, the Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code, and the Indian Evidence Act. So you can see that since a new thing is coming in, which means effort by all, including the judges, lawyers, and also the prosecuting agencies. So you can see that, oh, this new thing is coming. We were so familiar, because most lawyers were familiar with the old laws.
But do you see a political hand in this?
Sir, they are now, what the opposition is saying, these three laws were passed during a period when they were suspended for creating ruckus. More than 130 MPs were not there in the house. Some of them were suspended, some of them were expelled, and things like that. So they say that, look, since the laws were passed hastily, quote unquote, hastily is their observation. So therefore, these laws must be again brought before the House, and we need to debate. And sir, these opposition members should have realized the importance of these legislations. They should have participated. On the other hand, they were disrupting the functioning of the House, saying that we won't let the Modi government to pass any law. Now they are taking the plea that this should not be allowed. And they are taking advantage of the atmosphere outside, where people feel it that they have to study the law. Those who are dealing with the law are complaining that they have to study the new law, provisions of the new law. And they are not well equipped now. The Congress is just only trying to, but these laws are very significant laws, and there are a lot of changes in that. In fact, we could have a separate program to explain what are the new provisions of these new Criminal Procedure Code, Indian Penal Code, as well as Indian Evidence Act.
We will do a subsequent episode just on these three new laws, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.